Welcome, welcome, welcome. We've got week 1 college football. We went 3-1 last weekend with our week 0 picks. Split it this week pretty much with the weekday stuff, but we are ready to rock. Game 1, Kansas State and Stanford. Kansas State a short 3-point favorite. The game's actually being played in Dallas. This is going to play like a home game for the Wildcats with some pretty good proximity to North Texas for Kansas State. Simulations love this game. They like K-State at -9. Obviously, that's not exactly what we fully go off of. Kansas State, they're going to start super senior Skylar Thompson. This guy's already got 30 starts underneath his belt. Stanford, on the other hand, they're going to be running a 2-quarterback system. 2 quarterbacks, it doesn't work. It's never worked. It's never going to work. We're going to take Kansas State on the short spread. Game number 2 is going to be Rutgers. Rutgers is 14.5-point favorites against Temple. Temple last season was one of the worst teams in the country. They went 1-6. They averaged under 20 points per game, and they're only going to be returning 58% of their overall production from a year ago. That ranks 117th in the country, which don't have to tell you, that's not good. Scarlet Knights, on the other hand, they're going to begin Season 2 of the Greg Schiano era as double-digit favorites. Honestly, I don't remember the last time that they were favored this high. They're going to return just about everybody, especially on offense. They had a top 5 passing offense in the Big Ten. They actually ended up 4th in total points. We like Rutgers here, 14.5 to cover the big number against a very, very bad Temple Owls team. Game number 3 is going to be an interesting one. I don't know how many people will have this on their cards. Western Michigan plus 17 at Michigan. 17-point underdogs in the big house this weekend. Michigan's not very good. They're not really worth talking about. Cade McNamara is going to be starting quarterback for them. They thought they had the Texas Tech kid coming in to take over. That didn't happen. So they're going to be going with McNamara. Western Michigan, on the other hand, they've got one of the best non-Power 5 quarterbacks in the country in Caleb Elby. Last season, he led an offense that averaged 41.7 points per game. And this is exactly what you would consider a live arm. This kid averaged over 11 yards per attempt last season, had 18 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions. He can literally hurt you from anywhere. On top of that, they're going to return 4 or 5 offensive linemen, as well as their running back, Ladarius Jefferson, who was good for over 5.5 yards per carry last year. And then defensively for Western Michigan, they're going to return their entire defensive line and their secondary. So nothing easy is going to come for McNamara in the Michigan passing game. I think they are going to have Michigan in fits. I think Michigan is in for a tough season, and I think that the Jim Harbaugh era is close to ending. Next one, we've got Marshall 135, -135 at Navy. We'll keep this short. This game, as most Naval games are, it's going to be one in the trenches. Marshall's O-line is one of the best in the country. They are the best in Conference USA. Their D-line ranked top 30 in yards against a year ago. Navy was awful last year. They were ranked dead last by Pro Football Focus. They might air it out a little bit with quarterback Xavier Arline, but he was kind of trash last year. He averaged less than 2 yards a carry, which hasn't happened since Navy instituted the triple option, I think in 2002. And he only threw the ball 12 times. So a lot of question marks. We'll take Marshall money line. You could probably take that one spread. Next one, we've got Indiana +4 at Iowa. We've got Michael Penix Jr. at quarterback for the Hoosiers. He was great last year. He's one of the best, if not the best, quarterback in the Big Ten. He led Indiana to a 6-1 season. That was their best season in decades. He's going to return 4 of his 5 offensive linemen, but the big thing for him, he's going to have his top receiver, super senior Ty Freifogel. That kid's incredible. He is a very, very good receiver. He's probably a top 10 receiver in the country, and he's going to actually really put a lot of stress on this Iowa secondary. Their secondary is probably going to have the biggest issue. Defensively, Indiana was near top 10 in every category last year, and they're going to return over 70% of that production. Iowa quarterback Spencer Petras, pretty decent game manager, but he's not dangerous. He averages less than 7 yards per attempt. I think it's just 6.4. If they need to play from behind, he lost both of his 2 top targets from a year ago. So I think if Indiana can hop on him early, I think that you got to make Iowa throw the ball and not settle into a running game where they milk it out. Defensively, Iowa is going to be solid per usual. Like I said, the secondary is probably going to have the toughest time defending against Penix and Freifogel. Moving on, we've got Ohio +1.5 against Syracuse. Syracuse comes in as one of the worst Power 5 teams in the country. Their offense was outside of the top 100 in just about every category last season. Defensively, they ranked slightly better, but when you dig into the analytics, PFF actually had them ranked at 120th in the country in tackling. That's pretty important when it comes to this game. Ohio, they're going to return 5 starters on the offensive line. Seems to be a trend with a lot of the teams that we're picking. They come at you with an RPO attack that averaged just under 35 points in the MAC last year. Defensively, they're going to return a full D line. That front actually adds on Michigan State transfer Chris Mayfield. So Ohio's defense, we feel, have a great offense against a very, very bad Q's team. We'll take short spread. You can take short money line, however you want to go. Next is going to be an interesting one. This is our parlay. It's going to be the first leg of this one is going to be LSU minus 145 against UCLA. LSU would probably be huge favorites here if it wasn't for some recency bias to help the Bruins out. Don't let the dominating win over a bad Hawaii team distract you from the fact that it's an SEC school traveling to play a Pac-12 school. LSU's got a top 5 O-line. They're going to protect Max Johnson, and he should shred that UCLA secondary. There's some new coordinators for LSU this season. Their goal is to make things look similar to 2019. If they even have a shadow of 2019, they will run UCLA on Saturday. Second leg of this one is going to be Illinois minus 205 against UT San Antonio. They're like 5.5-point favorites. They get absolutely no love after their win last week against Nebraska. Brett Bielema, in my opinion, he's gladly going to play bully ball. I'm a Badger fan. I watched him do this at Wisconsin for years. Anytime we had a smaller opponent come, pound it between the tackles and pound them into submission. We do like Iowa minus 205 money line to round out that parlay. It comes out to around 150. The reason we're playing money line, Illinois let Nebraska sneak back in late last week, so we feel a little bit more comfortable going with Illinois on the money line there. Second to last pick, we've got Kent State plus 29.5 against Texas A&M. The Sharps are all over the Kent State line. Kent State averaged 49.8 points per game last season, and one of my favorite quarterbacks in the country, Dustin Crum, is returning. Crum actually took in a pair of Syracuse transfers, wide receiver Nykeem Johnson and tight end Aaron Hackett. They're going to add some much-needed depth to the receiving corps. They also returned 8 starters on defense, but their defense needs to improve. They were not great last season. A&M, on the other hand, they're going to begin their life post-Kellen Mond. Haynes King is going to be the new signal caller. This guy is a straight runner. The guy can gash you on the ground. However, he's not really going to take off the top. And with a spread like 29.5, that's going to go a long way. We really like this pick a lot. This is probably, between this and the Marshall pick, are our 2 favorites. We're going to take Kent State plus the 29.5. That's just an absurd number for a team that averaged almost 50 points per game last year. And then our last one, it's our late night special on Saturday night. We're very excited. We'll have Nevada plus 140 against Cal. Carson Strong in Nevada, they're going to bring a top 5 passing attack in the country, bring it into Berkeley. Look for the upset, like we said, plus 140. They're going to return 10 starters on offense and 10 starters on defense are the Wolfpack. So we expect them to be very, very disciplined and very, very, very stout. The explosiveness of this offense is going to face a defense in Cal that brings back only 40% of its production. They weren't great last year, and they don't bring anybody back. Offensively, Cal has got a 4th-year starter, Chase Gardners. Gardners is going backwards in production. He's actually gotten worse as he's gone on. He had a really bad 2020 campaign. Defensively, the Bears are outside the top 75 in just about everything. So that is our go-to. That's how we're feeling on the first Saturday of the year. So very excited. And we will see you probably next week for some more college picks.